So yes, Bron Breakker is regrettably out injured, having undergone surgery for a hernia. This was confirmed at the beginning of this episode of Raw. News of this had broken out online before. Obviously, wishing him well. Obviously, nothing is more important than obviously a person's well-being and health. So wish him a speedy recovery. But I mean, to kind of get into all the kind of like the wrestling fan and nerdy stuff on it, which obviously is completely secondary to the guy's health and well-being. It does provide WWE with a problem, and it does make me kind of think about how they're going to get around this now on the road to WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know. There's always a chance that they could still pull this together for WrestleMania, but yeah, like I said, we're only like a couple of months away, so it's looking like a big question mark whether Bron Breakker will be for WrestleMania, because even if he is, that you haven't got too much of a time for any build there, so we'll have to see. We kind of got an indication from this episode of Raw there's going to be kind of quite a few filler feuds between now and WrestleMania. So I think that they could create these sort of filler feuds for Revision. I think in some ways it could actually help Revision. Been saying this in the previous videos. It kind of felt like the Bron Breakker show, really, where it was kind of the whole of the stuff surrounding the Vision was only engaging because of what was going on with Bron Breakker and his character, and therefore the other three just kind of faded into the background a little bit, and there wasn't really too much going on with them, especially with Austin Theory and Bronson Reed. So hopefully there will be something for them to do, which I get. So there will be, especially come how this episode of Raw ended, which I'll get into. We had so after this news broke out, we had Becky Lynch opening the show in true heel fashion, just in a very we're just absolutely loving Becky Lynch as this is kind of for me personally the best version of Becky Lynch that we've seen. I just think that her mic work and her promo work is just so over the top, but in such a wonderful way. We had this was all kind of like we had Becky Lynch basically on the microphone looking like that she was cutting this promo like she was literally about on the verge of a nervous breakdown. All of this was triggered because we had seen CM Punk and AJ Lee backstage, so she had come out basically kind of looking like she was kind of like on the verge of a nervous breakdown, talking about AJ Lee like she was this kind of like monkey on her back that she couldn't get. We had AJ Lee coming out, she was playing off this perfectly. The narrative was that she kind of like was doing pushed her into they're going to have a match at the Elimination Chamber for the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, I've said it before that I guess it depends on what AJ Lee's schedule is going to be. But I mean, similar to the whole Roman Reigns thing, if she's going to be like a part-time, I don't want them to take the title off Becky Lynch for that. If they're going to use this as kind of like a springboard to make AJ Lee a more regular person on the WWE Raw, then I would welcome a title change. But otherwise, just keep it on Becky Lynch, I think. And it kind of fits the narrative as well, in his narrative of kind of that AJ Lee is kind of this monkey on her back and she can't get. Then Becky Lynch feels that she has to have this match so that she can finally get that victory over her. There is that narrative, so that's how I would kind of like envision that playing out. But yeah, just wonderful work by both Becky Lynch and AJ Lee there. We had the tag team match between Usos and Alpha Academy. This didn't, we had some nice little counters by Otis and Tozawa here, but yeah, the result of this was never in doubt. We knew that they weren't going to take the titles off the Usos with this, and therefore unfortunately it wasn't a match that didn't outstay its welcome at all. It wasn't any longer than it needed to be. And it was just everything that it kind of like needed to be. It was just literally that film match. We had Liv Morgan and Dom Mysterio coming out. They were out by Stephanie Valkyrie. There was again this sort of like continuation about this narrative about Liv Morgan being undecided about who she's going to face at WrestleMania, and it's just make it Stephanie Valkyrie. Do you know what I mean? We know that obviously that this is that Liv Morgan and Jade Cargill doesn't quite fit, so we know that after the feud with Raquel Rodriguez that she attacked Stephanie Valkyrie. That's why Stephanie Valkyrie came out here. So you're already there. So it feels like I do feel like it's a little bit tedious when I feel like they're just kind of going around the houses now, where it's kind of like you can just just lock a feud in and just kind of go with it. I think so. We had a elimination chamber qualifying match in the women's here between Lyra Valkyria, Rhea Ripley, and Ivy Nile. Again, no one's going to be surprised to find out. Obviously, Rhea Ripley was triumphant here. Really good display by Ivy Nile though. She was she had basically got quite a few good dominant spots in. They really did try and make Ivy Nile look like this powerhouse here. Whether that's an indication of some Ivy Nile push, I kind of hope so. I always feel that she's never been utilised to the full of her potential in WWE, so hopefully we do get it, but I'm not holding my breath. I feel like that she's still going to fade into the background after this, unfortunately. But yeah, we can always hope. We had some stuff with the Judgment Day going on backstage, continuing this storyline with Finn Balor. This basically involved Dominic Mysterio trying to talk to Finn Balor, trying to encourage him to kind of like move on from CM Punk and everything, due to that he was now facing Roman Reigns, and so that was kind of like locked in, so just move on to other things. Finn Balor wasn't going to have it, so Finn Balor came out demanding a title shot at Elimination Chamber. Adam Pearce came out and was like, no, that's not happening. You've already had your title. But CM Punk comes out. He's basically pressuring Adam Pearce to actually make this match official, saying that he wants to be this fighting champion. But really just didn't. But CM Punk did a fantastic job of just taking this concept, which essentially is just a filler feud. Nobody's really viewing this as anything more than that. But he's kind of taken this filler feud and just made it feel like must-see TV. The promo that CM Punk cut here and the energy that he put in, and just completely sold it for me. So yeah, I'm all down for it, and I'm just, they've kind of, in terms of like building this matchup, they've done the best job that they can do with this. I really do think that. So we had a bit of I guess a squash match, but between Maxine Dupree and Natty here, which is kind of like what it needed to be. We needed Natty to be kind of gnarly here to really just come across as this big, scary foe for Maxine Dupree. Now it ended with a DQ outside, and then Natty applying the sharpshooter to AJ Lee coming out to help Maxine Dupree. AJ Lee was then jumped by Becky Lynch, so maybe that's another filler stuff that they're going to do. We could potentially have Natty and Becky Lynch in a tag team match against AJ Lee, Maxine Dupree. Maybe that's another filler match that they're going to do. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, obviously, like I said, it's all going to be, just those little stepping stones to getting Maxine Dupree more over, making her feel like this kind of like this triumphant underdog again, which is going to be the long play here. So yeah, we had the main event here between LA Knight, Penta, and Austin Theory. Again, really solid match, solid main event. Only let down again, similar to the women's, although maybe not to quite the same degree. That's we all kind of like predicted that LA Knight was going to come out of here, though. There were a lot of swerves. Obviously, we had the expected shenanigans with the Vision coming out and Paul and Bronson Reed coming out. We had Bronson Reed delivering a tsunami again to LA Knight. He was then saved by the return of a hooded figure who had basically kind of cleared basically the Vision out, allowing LA Knight to pick up the win. I mean, and it's going to be. It was interesting that the hooded figure returned and attacked Austin Theory in this, because there's been this theory, no pun intended, that Austin Theory is just kind of like a mole in the Vision, so there's a potential that maybe that there's going to be that reveal, and there's going to be like this little team up between Austin Theory and whoever the new hooded figure is. I mean, that could still be the case. I mean, the fact that the hooded figure attacked Austin Theory could all be a swerve. I mean, we've seen enough Scream films to know that just because somebody gets attacked, you can't take them off the suspects list. But yeah, so it could all be kind of like a ruse. It could all be a swerve, but it is interesting because it did at least succeed in casting that little seed of doubt that maybe that's not what we're going to do. Like I said, I kind of hoping that they do kind of go down that road with Austin Theory. I've said it before, where his character I think needs a kind of a bit of a 360 to get him over with the crowd. But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm not too sure who the hooded figure could be, apart from obviously the obvious being Seth Rollins, but something in part of my brain is just not quite accepting that, and something for some reason I'm not quite buying it. I'm thinking there could be something else. I mean, you could potentially, I mean, if you're not going to turn Austin Theory babyface, and you could keep him in the Vision, and you could potentially, when the mask person is revealed. Obviously, there's enough candidates to kind of pair them up with to kind of even out the playing field to take on the Vision. Obviously, you got Penta, you got LA Knight, but yeah, so that you don't necessarily need to Austin Theory to change sides, but yeah, I just think that it would be really beneficial to kind of getting his like I said, his character over with a crowd, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, like I said. Nothing's more important than a person's health and well-being. So, like I said, yeah, wishing Bron Breakker well, and yeah, like I said, the best we can hope for from a fan perspective is that Bron Breakker has a speedy recovery, and in the meantime, WWE creative do something that just kind of like elevates the Vision, so that when Bron Breakker comes back, they are this really kind of like stellar unit, and it doesn't just feel like a Bron Brekker's running the show, that everybody else in the Vision feels like a dominant force in their own right. Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, but on the whole, guys, I thought that this was a fine episode of Raw. I don't think that there was anything, really necessarily to really stand out in this episode. But yeah, it was a fine episode of Raw. It was just one of those, it came, it went, and that was kind of like it. It was fine. Yeah, thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to ring a bell for notifications. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please feel free to let me know down in the comment section about what your own thoughts of this episode of Raw was, what your own little fan theories are, maybe what your predictions are going forward, all of our fun geeky stuff. Let me know down in the comment section, and as always, I will see you guys on the next video. You guys take care.